Hi, Easley. So I'm going to show you some new picture books that we have gotten in for the new year in 2021. I'm going to make a couple of videos. This first one is going to be about books that are about feelings and like stuff that you would maybe learn about in guidance or counseling, as well as books that show characters of color or from other cultures. So I'll start out with You Matter, and this is by Christian Robinson, and this is just a book about how all of us have a place in the world and how important each of us are to the universe. This is something that you might want to think about reading if you feel frustrated often, and it's called The Problem with Problems and how things can build up and make you feel bad. So check out The Problem with Problems, and that's by Rachel Rooney. Things That Go Away. This is by Beatrice, I don't know how to say her name, Beatrice Alagamana, right? And this is about how things feel overwhelming, but they're temporary and things will move on. And things that will never change are the feelings of love that you have for your family. This one's sweet, about friendship. It's called Ways to Welcome, and it's by Linda Ashman. I like this one, Beau the Brave. Bethan Wilvin is the author of this one, and it's kind of about being true to yourself, and it's called growth mindset. Like when you feel like you're kind of low and you can't do it, if you fight for it, you can pretty much do anything. And it's also about learning that things are not always what they seem. This one's called Rain Boy, and it's by Dylan Glenn, and it's about how people feel about rain. Like nobody ever wants rain around. How does Rain feel about that? So luckily he comes into a friendship with Sun, so things kind of turn around for Rain in the end. But I love this good friendship story about accepting new friendships. And then another one, just kind of about if you're feeling anxious or worried all the time. This one's called Don't Worry, Little Crab, and it's by Chris Houghton, and this one's very sweet. So now here's some books about cultures that we just don't have a lot of in the library, so I'm excited for some of you guys to read these. The first one is called Cannonball, and it's a story about courage, and he's afraid to go in the water and do a big jump, and it's kind of about him building himself up to that. But it's set in New Zealand, and he is a Maori, a part of the Maori tribe, and we have no books about that. So if you're interested in learning about how people live all the way across the world, but they still have the same issues that we do right here, about being worried and having the courage to do stuff. This one's called Salma, the Syrian Chef. So Syria is a country in the Middle East, and there's a lot of refugees from Syria. Those are people that had to leave Syria because it was dangerous there. So it's her trying to be here in the United States, but wanting to cook a meal for her mother from that culture, from the Syrian culture, but having a hard time getting the ingredients. But she ends up having a lot of helpers in the refugee community. This one is called Nana Akua Goes to School, and they are Ghanaian, which Ghana is a country in Africa. And the grandma, wears traditional Ghanaian dress, and she goes to school as sort of like part of show and tell with her granddaughter. So this is sort of a beautiful story about like when you look at people and you don't know much about them, just like asking questions and learning more. My Big Family is a great story about a Latinx family, and it's just at first mom, dad, and the child, but then several extended relatives come to stay, and there's a little surprise at the end. So if you like family stories, check this out. So Ona Means Family is a Hawaiian story, and it's about preparing for a luau. You can learn great Hawaiian words in this book. It has beautiful pictures. Another one from Africa is Your Name is a Song, and this is about how sometimes people have a hard time pronouncing names from other cultures, and it can frustrate the people of that culture when that happens. And this is about loving how beautiful names can be. And then I've got one more from Japan. It's just a really nice story about a stuffed fox, and it's called Golden Threads. And finally, just a story Our stars like your stars, and it goes through all the different colors to show how people all around the world can be different from each other, but also quite the same. And then a couple of books I wanted to show you from African American culture. LeBron James has a new one called I Promise, and just about doing the right thing. All Because You Matter is a story about a mom and a child, but with beautiful illustrations. And then Southwest Sunrise is another one about a boy who moves from New York City into the desert, and he doesn't quite like the experience, but he sort of comes around. It has also beautiful pictures to it. All right, so those are some great new titles that we have in our Everybody section. If you want to place any of them on hold, go into Destiny, look up the title, and place it on hold. You can pick it up on Mondays and Thursdays.